It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Planet MFL video where I talk about MFL, show you my journey, all the fun we're having in MFL, and all of that good stuff. If you've never played MFL before, it's a fantasy football online game where you play against other real people, and if you want to give it a try, Season 6 just ended. The seasons are 6 weeks long. Season 6 just ended. Season 7 is going to begin in a few weeks. Now is the perfect time to jump on board. Get yourself a club. If you want to sign up to MFL, use my link in the description. Helps me out massively. Also gives you a free common player when you spend over, I think, $25, which is what you need anyway to spend to buy your first club. So if you'd like to sign up and try MFL, it would be a big help to me and the channel. Otherwise, Season 6 has just ended, so I thought better jump on, make a video, show you how I finished in Season 6, give you a little season review of my two clubs, how we performed, what we've learned, and this is crucial, what we're planning on doing next season. Season 7 will be here before I know it, so I've got to get my things in order, and I'm planning a few moves. I've just listed my main club for sale on the market, so big moves are happening today. Big moves are happening, so I thought I'd better jump on, give you an update. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about MFL. We're going to show you what I'm doing. If you've got any comments, any advice, any tips, or if you want to let me know how you did this season, comments, that's where they go. So let's start off by looking at the final league tables of my two MFL clubs. Okay, gang, here we are in the home page of, now it says Bochum Bad Boys. That's because I've given it a quick rebrand because I'm trying to sell the club now. But this was my main team, AFC Amreezy. So ignore the logo change and the team name change. Still the same spirit, but I am trying to sell this club now because what I've realized is this was the first club I bought, and what I've realized is I can see myself having more MFL clubs. When I bought this club for the first time, when I first started playing MFL, I kind of thought I'll just have one club, and so I picked a city that I had a good site. I have been to Bochum before in Germany. I had a link there. And so I thought, okay, I have a fond memory of this city. I'll pick this city randomly. But then as I've played MFL more, I've been like, I kind of want an empire. Kind of want an MFL empire. Maybe 3-4 clubs. That's how crazily big I'm thinking. But it could become more in the future. I don't know the potential, but I kind of want to set a plan now so that if I end up having loads of clubs in the future, there's some kind of game plan. And my game plan is I want all my teams to be in Mexico because your boy Amreezy lives in Mexico, Englishman living in Mexico, so I love Mexico now, and so I want all my teams to be in Mexico, and I just think that'd be cool to have all your clubs from one country. And if I was to pick a country, it would be England or Mexico, and the English clubs are quite expensive. All of the licenses for English clubs usually sell for more. I figured the demand for Mexico is not going to be as big as the demand for England, so I'll make my empire in Mexico. And also I've already got one club in Mexico already, my Amreezerves. They play in Morelia in Mexico, so I want my other team to play in Mexico too, and then if we have a future empire, I want them all to be based in Mexico. So that's kind of why I'm selling the Germany license. So I've rebranded it, but ignore the name for now. That's just, it's in the shop window, so I've given the logo a quick redesign. So if you want a club, if you're on the market and you respond to this quickly, Bochum Bad Boys are on the market, German-based Spark Club. So they're for sale. Also exciting MFL news, there's going to be a new division below Spark, Flint. So we're going to have a new division, which kind of means that we got promoted. We kind of got promoted for both of our Spark teams, and now in the second division. We're not in the bottom division, so I'm taking it as a promotion. So 2 promotions, yay, kind of fake promotions. But yeah, this is how a team did. We finished 6th. Actually, spoiler alert, both teams finished 6th. But this finished 6th. Now, if you are going to buy this club, I will warn you, this is a really competitive league. And also, one of the reasons why I kind of don't mind selling this club, because really competitive league. However, this team, Soho team, they're going to be promoted. And maybe these 2 teams aren't in the league next year. So it could be, if these guys don't strengthen, this is the problem with this league from last year, was all of the teams that finished below me last year's season strengthened massively. So these guys, like A, B, C, D, E, F, C, hilarious name, and Lombards, and maybe Volta too. I think maybe I finished above them last year, but this year they just bought loads of new cards, and I didn't buy. I bought like 1 or 2 new players, but they weren't. They were buying green players. I was buying gold players. So yeah, it's a competitive league, but I kind of also want to get out because of the Germany Bochum license. So we finished 6th. Last video I was telling you we're having a bit of a terrible form, and we just got knocked out of the cup, perhaps. But yeah, let's give a whole season review. So the season started bad. Season started very bad. Why is it not loading more? Here we go. Season started with, here we go. This was the first game. 2 defeats in a row. Ruby FC, A, B, C, D, E, lost those. Tweak the tactics. That was a big moment for me in the season. Was I was playing a 4-4-2 diamond, and these were the tactics that I've set this season. This is how my team ended up looking, but we were playing this formation all season, and I kind of learned, that was my first mistake this season, was sticking to one formation only and not having enough flexibility to play other formations. So big lesson learned, don't stick to this one formation next season, create a bit of flexibility. And the problem with this formation is it has no CMs, which means if you build your team like I did, I built this team and I had built my backup 11 players all in those positions, it meant that I couldn't go to a formation with CMs, which is a lot of the 4-3-3 formations, which is a lot of the 3 at the back formations. A lot of other formations kind of involve CMs, and none of my players could go there without taking a massive hit on their overall ratings, which I didn't like. So we stuck with this formation all season. But what we did was, after those first 2 games where we had 2 defeats, we changed player instructions massively. And then we went on a good run with player instructions. Then, as good as our instructions were against Thorns and Mijol Academy and Volta, the teams that finished above us, Thorns, Mijol were 1 place below us, and then Volta finished there. Against the better teams in our league, we weren't able to win. So that was a problem for me, but I couldn't really change it. I couldn't change the formation. I couldn't bring in any more players because I don't really want to spend more money on buying players in the game. I'm trying to have a reasonable budget and see how far I can go with that budget and slowly grind MFL and buy players. That's kind of my long-term strategy. So I had to just accept we weren't good enough and we were going to lose games like Volta, Lombard, Soho Scene. We were going to lose games. But what I did well was the games were against teams that are kind of similar to me or worse than me. They were the games we were winning. So we finished 6th, mid-table. We were projected to finish mid-table. So we kind of finished where we were projected. I was only 1 place off 5th, 5 points off 4th. So, you know, wasn't massively off there. If I'd have had a bit of a more flexible formation, maybe in the mid-season transfer window, I would have been able to bring in a few different positions. Whereas what happened was I ended up just bringing players in the same positions I had, which happened around here, mid-season. We got to the cup, we got past the cup stage, we got to the knockout stages, we beat the round of 16 here, 4-0. We then got to the quarterfinals, further than we've ever been before. And by the way, all of this is covered in my MFL documentary. If you'd like to go check that out, it's on the channel where I make a kind of semi-dramatic documentary, fake acting out my season. So we made it to the cup. That was in the last episode. So there will still be another episode of the documentary coming out maybe next week, where I'll conclude the season. But this is a spoiler. This is a little spoiler for the documentary. And then we won a few more games. As you can see from our form this year, it's been a very like draw, win, draw, loss here, win, loss, draw, win. There was no consistency, no consistency. But the last 2 games of the season, we won 4-1, both of them. One of them against Thorns, who are above us. So that's good. I think we're in a good place as a squad. I think if I take this team of players and put them in another league, maybe we get a bit luckier with the competitiveness on our next season. We'll have to see, but I think we've built a kind of good team here. Now, some of these best players like Polido, Drame, they're on loan, so they're not going to be there next year. However, I have some players in my academy, my squad, that I've been loaning out. These 3 players, Del Rio, Alfonso, and Luis, I've been loaning them out to Stone clubs this year. None of them have really. Wait, I think one of them has progressed. I think if we go current season, we had +2 from Del Rio and we had a +1 from the goalkeeper. So they are developing, all three of these players. Alfonso got some dribbling. So if we go by all-time progression, Alfonso's never progressed. He's gone up by dribbling and shooting, but he's never progressed his overall rating. The goalkeeper got his first overall rating. So basically, I've got these guys. And now that Koja has progressed into 69 rated, he's now close to the guys that we loan out. Now, here's a bit of a funny position for me. There's no way I'm loaning Koja out. I know the sensible thing right now might be to loan Koja out because he's now too good for possibly Spark and doesn't really fit the rest of my players. But if you've been watching the channel a while, there's no way I can give Koja away. He's my star. He's my hero. So what I'm going to have to do is not loan out these three guys. Maybe the top guy I could loan out, but I now want to keep these guys and possibly just really go for it next year. Try and get out of Spark. Because my plan is to sell the Germany license and probably with the same money buy another Mexican team's license. I'd like Mexico City because if it's going to be my A team, I think it makes sense to put them in Mexico City and all of my kind of other projects have them in other cities. However, if I end up selling the Germany license and then another Mexican different city appears available for like a good price, I might just take that. Because I'm not particularly attached to having one club and going from the bottom division to the top division with that one. That's not my main, I don't mind buying a dirty club, as people say, and taking over someone else who's done a job somewhere else. So if that happens, I'll probably be in Spark division, because if I sell my Germany license, I'll probably with that money only be able to buy a Spark club for the same kind of price. So these guys are going to be in Spark next year. So if I imagine I keep these three guys and Koja, I then have got a 74 rated player, which is too much. So if I say at 70, let's say 70, Koja might go up to 70 next year. So if I try to make my bracket of players between 70 and 60, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players who I've got in my agency right now who are between 70 and 60. If I then add a few loans and keep it within the 70 to 60 bracket. Also, you may notice here, your boy Amreezy's got some MFL to spend. This is what I've earned this season and a bit of last season, because I saved, I think, 2,000 or 3,000 was from last year. This is what I've earned from my 2 clubs this year and what I had. So I've now got 7,000 in the bank. So I can buy 70 to 60 rated players. They're not showing in the stock shop right now because they've taken them away from the shop. But I believe it'll be 4,500. Here we go. This is kind of what I'm looking at because I'm going to be building a squad of 70 to 60 rated. So this pack, 4,500 MFL, would give me a 60 to 64 player guaranteed. I could go cheaper and get 2 of these packs. 2 of these packs, but these are between 55 to 64. So there's a danger if I get this pack, I'll get a 55, 56, 57. I just don't want those players. I want them to, so I can get one of these packs. Wait, how much have I got? 7,000. So I could buy one of these packs for 4,500, which will leave me with quick maths. Which will leave me with 3,500? 2,500. So I'm not going to be able to afford this. So I think what I'm going to do is just buy one of these packs, because that way I'm guaranteeing they're going to fit the quota. So that means I'll then have 10 players between 70 to 60. And then these guys will just take a hit on their development. The top 2, 74 and 74. Oh, I could sell them as well. I could sell those 2 and just keep the goalkeeper and Koja, and with that money reinvest in the squad and buy a whole bunch of players that fit the 60 to 70 bracket. So this is what I'm going to be doing next year. I'm going to be trying to keep some of these guys so that I don't have to sell Koja or loan Koja, and build a team around them, and then loan players who are really try and see if I can get some high quality loans like I did this year with Drame, with Pulido, with Mustapik. These were players that were 60 above 62. So if I can keep loaning players above 62, I should be able to keep Koja next year, have a really good squad, and if we get lucky with our league and it's not as competitive as this year, we could get promoted from Spark. So that's my aim next year. I want to get promoted from Spark, and I want to go strong and like get 62 plus rated players. So that my best chance of that is with the pack. I do have, in full transparency, like $20 in my Dapper account, and that's mainly come from selling some players this year. So with that $20, I'm torn. I could buy one player that fits this bill. So then I've got one player from the pack who's going to be 60 to 64 rated. I buy another player for $20 who's above 62 rated. Then I've now got 11 players all within that. Then I just need to find another 11 players. Actually, your top 16 players go to... This is a rambling episode, by the way. It's going to be a ramble one from me, boy Amreezy. I'm warning you now. I can feel it now. It feels rambly, but go with me. Planet MFL is changing. It's going to be more ramble chats. It's going to be more podcast vibes. Maybe we even make an audio version of it for podcasts. Who knows? But yes, the top 16 ratings count for your training, okay? So if I get a player from a pack and I buy a player, that's two players that are going to fit this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus the 2. So that's 11 players that I'll have. So I just need 5 more players that I could probably loan that are like 62 plus. If I loan 5 players and keep these 10 and but get the player that I'm thinking of buying, we could have 16 players all above 62 rated, and that would be good. That means we keep Koja, don't need to loan him out. He's training with like-minded people. All the rest will go to the reserve team. If I have the reserve team, I'm guessing the Amreezerves will still be there, and we maybe sell some players, like all of these players that are like 57, 55. Maybe we sell them, because I doubt nobody's going to want to buy my bottom rated players, my 41, 42, 44, 46 rated. These guys aren't going to, there's $1 maybe, but these guys who are like a little bit too good for the reserves, not quite good enough for what I'm planning for my A team, maybe I sell those guys. And maybe if we make some money from the sales, we reinvest that in getting 62 plus rated players for the new look AFC Amreezy team next season. So that is a long-winded... Congrats if you stuck with me through that. That is a long-winded ramble on what I'm planning on doing next year. I just have to double-check. I am recording this, right? Because I don't want to have to redo all of that. So that's what I'm thinking of doing next year. Really attacking Spark with a bit more aggression, better players. If you'd like to help your boy Amreezy out, get in touch with me on Discord, X, YouTube comments. They're the best places to reach me. And let's see if we can do some business for next season. I'm thinking of changing my formation to a 4-3-3 attack because, and then this is another thing we need to think about, if I'm going to keep my best players next year, not loan them out, it's a cam, a right winger, a goalkeeper. I have to find a formation that fits those 3 guys. And if you're playing a cam and a right winger, you're kind of limited to the amount of formations you can play. 4-3-3 attack works because you need a cam and a right winger. So 4-3-3 attack is probably the formation I'm going to be doing, and I have 0 central midfielders. So when I get my pack opening, I'm going to really hope it's a centre midfielder. When I buy the player from the market for that $20 I've got to spend, it'll probably be a centre midfielder. Now, instead of spending $20, I could gamble and wait for the pack drop and buy one limited pack from the pack drop and hope we get lucky. If I'm feeling... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to study the market until the pack drop. I'm going to buy a central midfielder because I don't have any. And if I'm going to be playing a 4-3-3 attack, central midfielder is going to be key because you're going to need 2 central midfielders and they're going to need to defend because 4-3-3 attack has no defensive responsibility in midfield. So I'm going to need central midfielders, I think, who can defend. These are the Amreezerves. These are the Amreezerves. So I am already thinking of next season. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to have a right winger here. I'm going to have a cam here. And these are my players. None of these guys are at loan. These are all my players at the club. So a cam is going to be there, and a right winger is going to be there, and a goalkeeper is going to be there. So the positions I kind of need to fill, I think I've got a right back. I've got this guy. Oh, no, he's on loan. Is he on loan? Yeah, Zayn's on loan from Fortress Agency. Thank you, Fortress Agency. So I'll have him. So I'll need to buy 2 centre midfielders and a right back. Or I could loan 2 centre midfielders and a right back. And we'll have a really good squad. We'll have 70 rated Koja as captain. We'll have these guys will be 70 rated, 72, 70, 69, I think. So we'll want kind of high 60s in centre midfield. So I'll scan the market and try and fill those positions myself. If I don't see them, I'll see how my pack opening goes. If I get lucky with the pack opening, that will be those positions filled. Then we'll reach a position where I'll be like, right, I didn't get anyone in the packs. I didn't find anyone on the market who's good enough. Then we go to the loan market and see, can people fill out these positions in loans? Then we're going to need backup as well. So then we'll need backup options that are 62 plus rated, because I want to keep that high, that gap of 10 ratings, probably higher than 62, maybe 64 rated plus. So we're going to be looking for high quality loans next year. But if we build a good squad, we don't have to loan Koja out. We get to keep our star man, and we get to maybe get promoted. So that's what we're doing. These are the tactics I'm thinking of doing next year. I think it's good to have an idea of the tactics you want before you do all your transfer business, because now I know what I'm filling. Now I know, okay, I'm filling these positions. I also understand that my left side is now a lot weaker. Lucy, I love Lucy. He's been with me from the beginning. I think I bought him for like $5. He's now a 62 rated player. However, if we're being ambitious here, the left back and the left, they're not going to be that strong. So we could also look for improvements here. But again, a lot depends on who we get in the packs, who we buy, who we're able to loan, all of that good stuff. So that's what my A team is doing. That's what my A team did last season. That's what we're thinking of doing next year. Let's now finish this week's video by having a cheeky look at the Amreezerves and how they did. Right then, welcome to the Amreezerves. They finished 6th in the league as well. So I had 2 teams that finished 6th. Their league was a lot less competitive. There were like these 4 teams maybe. These 3 teams, I think, even. Because Houston Vortex, I think we drew against. We lost 3-0. Felt like a draw. So a little bit like the A team, really. The reserve team, we didn't really have any consistency this season. We were up and down. However, my expectations for this team were much lower. I thought we were going to finish like 10th, 11th, 12th. I was happy with 10th. I was like, if we don't finish bottom, I'll be happy. And we ended up doing that. Now, a few weeks ago, I was saying maybe I should play my A team in this league and play the reserve team in the other league. If I manage to sell the other league, I think I'll stick with this team in this division, because with a new league coming, Spark Division won't be the bottom league. So the Amreezerves could get relegated next year. However, if this team league stays with this kind of competitiveness, if we can get rid of these 2 best teams, and the teams that come in, they're obviously going to probably be good. However, there's enough teams here that can give us a cushion to not get relegated. So I think I'm going to stay with this team in this division next year and just do the same tactics. Go for the cup. In the cup this year, we got to the round of 16 and then we got knocked out against... We got knocked out in the cup. It was a close game. Yeah, it was a close game. We lost 1-0. We lost 1-0 against Rare FC Port Harcourt, and that was a close game. So next year, I think it's a good strategy with my reserves. They'll probably be a bit better next year, the reserve team, because a few of the players progressed this year. Let's look at the progression. A few of the players progressed this season, and it was players that didn't progress last year when they were just like not getting much game time in the A team. So if you can go here, if we go by overall progression, this guy Nordgen, he went up by 3. Now he's not mine. He's going to be going back next year. But these next guys are all my players +2, +2, +2, +2, +2, +2, all my guys. Then we've got some +1s, some of them mine, some of them on loan. But I think it, as a project, it worked. We got some extra MFL from another team. We got progression from players that were not getting any game time in the A team. Now, I might try and sell some of these guys. I'll probably try and transfer list my best players here, try and make some money from them. If I don't, they're going to be playing in the reserves next year, but with better ratings. So we had our band at 40 to 50. I think next year, if we go to my overall rankings, we could probably do like 45 to 55, and we just push up the overall quality of the reserve team. That feels like progression for me. So it's been a lot of fun having another team that I'm not as invested in tactically, just kind of play them, see, and then really go for the cup. And it's been a fun season having a second team. So I definitely want to have a second team, maybe a third team in the future. I can see myself having 3, maybe 4. I just think beyond that, it'd be really hard to manage. But in the future, you never know. Maybe there'll be managers you can hire in the future. So that could still happen. But for now, I've enjoyed having 2 teams. The reserve team won me some nice MFL, finishing 6th and getting to the round of 16 in the cup. And we saw player progression. So a lot of fun with the Amreezerves. That will be continuing next season. What do you guys think? What should I be doing? Do you want to buy a Bochum license? Do you like the idea of my players? Any tips? What should I do with that money? What should I do with the MFL? Another thing I haven't really thought about is the development center. And the reason I've not thought of that is because from what I've seen from my players, the only 2 players that are like progressing fast are Koja and Lucy. The rest of the players, I just feel like maybe they're not going to get that much better. So I don't see the point in putting them in the development center. Also, age-wise, these are my best guys and they're 19 years old. This goalkeeper hasn't progressed. He's gone up by 1 in 2 years and he's had plenty of game time. So I don't think he's great. And then I've got 21, 22. I think maybe, are they too old for the development center? I feel like my better players, I want to play them. I don't want to have them in the development center where I can't use them. And then my worst players are like 46 rated, 48, 44. Yeah, they're 22, but they haven't really progressed much, these guys. And I just think better to play them in the Amreezerves than to have them in the development center, maybe, where I can get some use out of them. But possibly this guy, 46, put him in the development center because he has progressed wild by 2 this season. He's gone up by 2. So does that show that he's got some potential stats? But then again, he's got 42 defense for a centre-back. I just don't think he'll ever get that good. So I'm not really drawn to the development centre. I don't really see that. But I will have some MFL left over when I buy my 4,500 pack. So maybe that's an option. Let me know if you guys like the development centre, any of that good stuff. I think that's your boy done. Next video from me in terms of MFL, there might be a Soro video later, but MFL video should be the documentary, the final part of the documentary for season 6. We should get that out next week. Then it's next season. Then it's planning for next season, transfer window opening, all of that good stuff. I'm excited to build my next team. Hopefully I can sell my Germany license, buy another Mexico license, and take it from there. I'm excited. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you for watching, supporting the channel all season. Good luck with your preseason planning. I'll see you next Planet MFL video. Peace.